what's set to happen in 2018? Because this holds so much importance for everybody out there who's invested in China and certainly invested in anything that's got to do with trade between the two countries.
We all came into 2017 expecting, people were either pleased or shaking their head or in disbelief about Trump being president, but everyone sort of agreed that it's going to be volatile because of his Twitter, announcements and his general way of how he addresses any sort of topic. There's bound to be volatility, and we just haven't had that. This year has been extremely dull in many ways. I think particularly in the China trade war type of analysis or scenario, that clearly hasn't played out. People were surprised how weak he was on China, and yet clearly things have turned around. This recent strategy paper about America First and how he's categorizing Russia and China clearly could raise problems. The Chinese are already pushing back on that. So I would expect that we're going to see, the volatility we expected this year. I think we're going to probably see it next year in China. But it's Donald Trump. Things could change again. The danger is to take him at his word and believe that he's actually going to follow through with anything.
Mandy.
It's very, very, very well put. Fraser, what do you think the biggest issue facing China is? I mean, you could probably have a telephone book, if they even make telephone books anymore, telephone book list of things that, could go wrong. But what would be at the very, very top of that list, the front page?
I think it's very clear, and I think the leadership know this. They are basically have this difficult problem of balancing financial risk, which is i.e. basically too much credit growth, against economic growth, and making sure that there isn't just sort of financial leverage in the system that isn't trickling through or isn't pushing genuine economic growth. And that's a difficult balance to get. It's a problem of their own making. For too long, they allowed credit to expand. For too long, they focused on GDP growth rates. And you had seen recently that more people are coming out in China, so senior think tank members and others coming out saying, we need to shake this dependence on GDP growth. That's happened a little bit, but it's very tough to do. Because even if the leadership say, I'm not going to put a target out there, at the local level, that's one of the metrics, or it's certainly one of the things that local mayors and provincial governors are being based on. How much investment they brought in, how much economic growth is there in the system, how many jobs are being created, factories are being built. It's a very difficult balance to get. And I think they've shied away from, initially they were talking about reducing credit, now they're just talking about reducing the growth of credit. And so, they can't really deleverage because growth is so dependent on it. Very difficult balancing act.